Hello everybody, Fox here, going to give you another 1 versus 1. This is a 2.6 matchup, and I apologize for the lack of games just because my dad has retired and I haven't had much casting windows. When somebody's home, I cannot cast a game. It's just awkward, it's just weird, but now he's out shopping, so I'm taking advantage of this. Going to get this game started from the 5-second mark, starting in 3, 2, 1, play. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our player up north is the Vermont player named Hossman Fragdew. I couldn't find his level. Apparently he's a Smurf. And our player down here south is the American player Freedom, which is a level 14 player. And that is a pretty high level. Level 16 is usually where the really good players sit around. But level 14 is pretty close to, and definitely should be a good game. It was considered one of the popular replays, on-game replays. So let's see how this game starts out. Looks like our Vermont players is going to get a Vermont quarters, of course. Whoop-de-doo. Probably going to build a Volksgrenadier squad, and yes, he is. Our American player going to open with a barracks. Definitely going to go with rifle spam, so nothing too crazy at the moment. Going to go cap the left side of the map. It looks like Hossman is going to go to the left side of the map with his 2 Pioneer squads, and while our US player, what is his name? Freedom, excuse me, trying to remember his names, is going to decide to go left and right, going to get these 2 points close to his base, while he goes caps a plus 16 and probably that plus 16 fuel and munitions, and then reconnect it with that strategic point. Always, the reason he does that is because capping the higher points is a lot slower, and once you have them capped, they're easier to defend. Even if your opponent starts to cap them, you can just throw a few bullets their way and they will fall back. And he's actually going to go for this strategic point, so it will connect this. Oh, actually going to connect his. Excuse me, man. I'm out of it. That's what happens when you don't cast for 2 weeks. And he's going to recap that with the strategic point with the rifleman squad. Now going down the middle here with his rifleman. Actually, a lot of barbed wire being laid down by that Volksgrenadier squad and rifle squad, so he will not be able to take this strategic point and cut his opponent from the left side of the map. There is a bike here going to do quite a bit of harassment here, and any damage taken by that bike easily repaired by one of these Pioneer squads. This is a great combo. And the rifle squad, very nice move. They're going to hide behind the hedgerow. If that bike comes around the corner, they're going to take insane damage from that rifle squad, and these squads over here up north cannot fire onto that rifle squad. So great positioning there by our US player. It looks like our engineer squad going to try to cap this plus 16 fuel. However, there is a Volksgrenadier squad in the vicinity and should be able to shoo away that rifle squad, just trying to keep him busy. However, so will he get this fuel point? I'm not 100% sure. It is down 1/4 now. You can see he's pulling his Pioneer squad back. He needs to get rid of this Engineer squad, or he will lose that fuel point. You can see the Rifle squad trying to stay in here as much as possible, and it's a race. It's a race right now. 2 rifle squads now. May take out this bike, however, and he will get the bike. Lose that bike. The Vermont player desperately trying to hold on to this fuel point, and unfortunately lose that bike in the process. And yes, he manages to decap that rifle. The Engineer squad will get out of there, and he actually forces the Vermont player back and gets the fuel point. So big victory there for the US player, and they should be able to mop up this Pioneer squad even though they are on half health. And yeah, the Pioneer squad is losing its health very quickly and will have to get out of there. So let's check the map control. Actually, the Vermont player trying to counter cap his opponent's fuel point, and it looks like he will get it. We'll have to retreat right now. Hopefully he does retreat. Looks like he's just going to go over here. Looks like it's on a Q shift command. Engineer squad not going to chase on that Pioneer squad, so the Pioneer squad will get away and maybe he'll cap this strategic point if he desires to, or lay down a mine. However, he does not have the munitions right now. Oh yeah, I guess he does. Munitions are at 25, but he is laying down the mine right there, so he probably will hit that mine later on through the game. Very narrow door, obviously. And our engineer squad unfortunately decided to cap that fuel point, so you will not see that mine lay down. However, it is a little suspicious. Low health Pioneer squad over here not capping anything, and he may see this mine over here or may target it down. He will hit the mine. Let's see what happens here. He's going to hit the mine or may target it down. Oh, and he is smart enough. He does know where that mine placement was. A very obvious spot. However, unfortunately, this engineer squad was a little too close. Doesn't lose any guys, and we'll happily take that out. There's a fight over here on the left side of the map. MG being the meat of this army, shooing away any rifle squad. Rifle squad needs to retreat. Nothing it can do. No, don't need to take all that damage. Maybe he's just trying to keep those squads here as long as possible to allow this rifle squad over here on the left side to flank, and it looks like he is going to do that. Now the rifle squad has to retreat, can't take any more damage, and now you can see, is he going to go for the flank? Unfortunately, that MG is not set up and is actually capping. However, the Volksgrenadier squad firepower is just too much. You can see fast bars are out for American player. So pretty standard there to get bars. Very, very great against infantry, great against any tier 2 play coming out from our Wehrmacht player. So he's going to have to use those MGs extra careful. He's actually still capping. No, he's not. Setting up that MG, great position there, and it will suppress this rifle squad as well as these 2 engineer squads that are moving up on the right side that do have the flamethrower upgrade. So very standard play here. All comes down to micro, where these flamethrowers have to get close. Rifleman needs to take the suppression, and then the flamethrowers come in and start mopping up. But unfortunately, he does get suppressed there. May be able to get run away. One squad does get away, and we'll try and cut him off, temporarily cut off the Wehrmacht player from the left side of the map, and that will decap him from the plus 60 munitions and soon to be plus 16 fuel. Looks like American player does have the slight advantage here, actually getting 2 plus 16 munitions here on the right side as well as fuel. The Wehrmacht player really hasn't been able to throw any units to ninja cap. Only one squad over here, but he needs to cap his points that are close to his base, which will benefit him greatly later onto the game, as well as needs to connect to benefit from these high points over here. So let's go ahead and check the teching from both our players here. It doesn't look like it's too different. Both still throwing stuff into tier 1. He is getting skirmish flays at the moment, and our American player doesn't look like there's anything going on. No supply yard up yet either. So still going to stick to tier 1. Both players haven't found that window to tech up. Engineer squad getting a little caught out, out of position a little bit. They do spot where the MGs are. However, there are 2 MGs here, so it's really a great spread amongst this left side of the map. He's going to have to hug the very, very right side of the map, which he is. So great move by our American player, Freedom, here, and managing to do that. However, there is no flanking going on at the moment. Maybe just trying to get these MGs to focus down in this general area while that rifle squad up here gets into position to do the initial flanking. However, yes, there is a rifle squad way up north, so may try to do that or decide to cut him off. You can see he's just trying to keep these Volksgrenadier squads here as long as possible. They are in green cover, so they will keep them in there for a while. Looks like we do have tier 2 play coming out from our Wehrmacht player, because he does have that bunker up, and tier 2 defensive play, excuse me, and we'll see that medic bunker going up. We do have the flank coming in now from our US player. It does hit a mine, unfortunately, and the MG is set up in the correct position. So this attack has been thwarted, if that is correct. I don't never really use that word. Has been denied, and now he will have to treat. So great play by the Wehrmacht player. Great mine placement and MG placement as well. Holding that left side of the map. However, because MGs are so immobile and require the support of your infantry units, this allows the US player to retake the right side of the map really untouched. This one rifles engineer squad has been really happy here. It has both VPs and all the plus 16 points over here on the right side, so it's looking pretty even for both players right now. Even though the US player has been losing most of these fights, he has half the map. And we do have a mortar pool coming out for our American player. Let's check our Wehrmacht player here. So the Craig Barracks is about halfway done. Let's see what that mortar pool is. Probably, I can't see how close it is done. Looks like it will be done first. So he should have a counter out by the time this M8 comes out. And the M8 may actually do a little bit of damage, but once that AT gun comes out, he should be fine. If that's what he decides to build. If he decides to get a Grenadier squad, then he might be in a little bit of trouble, because he has 25 munitions at the moment, and not enough for a Panzerschreck, or yeah, a Panzerschreck to counter that M8. And a Panzerschreck still is kind of a pain in the butt. Still, it's not the greatest counter unless you have quite a bit of them, as that M8 can continue to kite and whatnot. However, let's see what he decides to do. He does have quite the munition income, plus 32 per minute, and he's actually creeping up onto our American player's base, as the American player is also creeping up onto the US the Vermont player's base. However, he doesn't really have an army out here that's creeping up. It's really just his map control that's been doing it, and we have a Campcraft Center out, so we immediately getting veterancy for his infantry because that is what he's obviously going to be focusing on, and I cannot see where these American players' units are. So he is reinforcing right now, and we probably have an M8 coming out from that mortar pool. And 2 rifle squads sitting in here. Where are the other rifle squads? We have a Pioneer squad doing some kind of ninja capping, which is a great play by the Vermont player. Always never want to let your opponent go untouched while capping. You know, you want to kind of harass them and whatnot. And we can see a Grenadier squad over here may try to throw a grenade over that hedgerow. Let's see if our US player is paying attention. He does have the munitions for it. It is 25 munitions for a grenade. And still not doing too much. Maybe trying to threaten him or whatnot. But the US player does notice that and forces that, brings out that rifle squad out of the building. Now my phone is currently going off, so I'm going to have to ask you to pause. Actually, you know what? Forget it. Forget it. That's just ridiculous. Keep playing. I hope you did not pause. If you did, 10, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Those are my time synchronization. And the M8 going into the Vermont player's base right now and gonna do a little bit of harassment. There is an AT gun coming out onto the field. However, it's gonna be very, very hard for the for the AT gun to hit that M8 as it can dance around the building and whatnot. So actually may kill a Volks Grenadier squad here. It is trying to reinforce, trying to dance around here. The M8 is pushing into it. Down to 1 guy, actually up to 2 guys now because it did just pop out of the HQ, and now the AT gun is on the field. So let's see what that M8 decides to do. It decides to stay in here, continue to harass. You can see he's trying to get the camel up, but it's a little too late. He will continue. He will spot that, and actually artillery going down onto the field. And now my cell phone's ringing. It is my dad. So I'm going to pause right here, and there's going to be a little bit of a jump in the video. And the artillery is going off. Looks like the AT gun does manage to get out of the way. However, the M8 will probably take it out, and yes, it does manage to take out the crew. And so it can be remanned later on, and this M8 is actually quite a bit in trouble. The Shrek squad doing quite a bit. Panzerfaust trying to take it out, but does manage to take out the main gun. At least 50 cal still going to town on it, and the M8 looks like it will go away. I don't see. Oh, gunner killed. The MG taking out that gunner, and it does manage to go the way. Rifle squad over there trying to escort that M8 out of there, and doesn't look like any forces from their Wehrmacht player will intercept that. So safely go home. There are 2 engineer squads at home ready to repair that after they're finishing actually building a weapon support center for our American player. Maybe try to get some mortars and start hammering that medic bunker down. There's not much the Wehrmacht player can do about it unless he can catch the mortar out of position or get his own mortars and win that indirect fire fight. You can see Triad Center is also up, so he's definitely going to go heavy infantry. May see some Rangers later on in the game. Not 100% sure. Right now, I'm going to check checking for a Wehrmacht player. Really, a medic bunker actually took quite a bit of damage, and actually the Craig barracks went down. I don't know why I didn't notice. I was probably following the M8 so much, but it did go down. We do have an assault phase coming out for our Wehrmacht player, and I believe, what is that? Battle phase is tier 3, isn't it? So I think that's tier 4, unless I got the names mixed up wrong. We may see some Panthers out on the field, and looks like our Wehrmacht player is trying to do a little more harassment on the right side of the map, and looks like he successfully does that. He does manage to cut off the US player totally from the right side of the map, and now he has to dedicate his army onto the right side or lose map control, lose resources and all that good stuff. So popping up some sandbags there, some great move. He'll take a lot less fire. However, the MG is just tearing them up. However, the MG may go down very, very soon. Low health there. He will be able to brute force through this and manage to take out the MG, so now they're safe to go. Will we see a grenade? And it's such a juicy spot for a grenade. They're trying to crawl out of there and deciding not to retreat, and it does get 2 kills there. These guys are very, very low on health, so you can see how desperately he's trying to get the most use out of his units. MG going back up because he did remand that. However, the MG is retreating. Actually, what he was trying to do is take the MG so our US player doesn't take it for himself, and that would be a huge victory for the US player and a huge nuisance for our Wehrmacht player. As you can see, our American player taking advantage of that and going to the left side, doing a little more harassment. Not sure what he was shooting at. I don't see anything retreated. Maybe the AT gun managed to shoot away because it is down to half health. That does look like one AT shot, one camoed AT shot that is. And looks like both of these players forced back into their base. We do have a sniper out for our American player. See how that works out for him. It will be able to counter these MGs if it is supported, or any mortars that do come out, but doesn't look like there is. And was I correct? No, that must have been tier 3, I guess. No, I'm not sure. Maybe. Well, well, we do have a Sturm Armory coming out for our Vermont players, so we're probably going to see some Puma play, which is just absolutely great against rifles and infantry in general. However, the M8 is on the field, which counters that Puma, but it will take a while to take down a Puma, especially it can just easily run to the safety of these AT guns or any Shreks onto the field. We do have crack infantry completed, which is double veterancy. And let's see what he decides to build out of the Sturm Armory. He has 300 manpower right now, and he decides to get a Puma. Yes, it is. So we may see some Nebels later on, as well as our American player did go pretty heavy infantry. However, he hasn't really been blobbing lately, which is definitely a good thing. He's been spreading his riflemen out and going for flanks. You can see he's pushing up to the middle. We did have an MG into here. Oh, there it is. The MG is moved up over here, so it is setting up. Fortunately, these two rifle squads are kind of squished together, so hopefully this rifle squad moving up in the left-hand side will do that flanking fast enough. However, there is a sniper over here that can start firing onto the MG, as the MG is down to 2 guys, so 1 shot, 2 shots will take it out. 1 shot may force retreat, decides whatever the Vermont player decides to do. And there goes the MG now firing onto these 2 rifle squads. Unfortunately, they were stuck together, so they both get suppressed. Now the rifle, or the sniper, is moving up. 1 shot. MG is almost down. Will he decide to retreat it, or just say, hey, it's going to die anyway, I'll leave it there? And it looks like that's what he's deciding to do. There is an M8 onto the field. Little Puma and M8 dancing. I have more artillery going off, trying to go off to that Sturm Armory, and the M8 does have damage in it, so it may get taken out by a Panzerfaust, and yes, he decided to do that, and bam, there it goes, body flying all over the place. See what the artillery is doing. Will it take out the Sturm Armory? 1 more hit will take it out, and fortunately that 1 more hit is not going to come. However, the M8 has died as well, so can't just run in there and shoot it once and take it out. These 2 engineer squads over here need to retreat. I don't think he's paying attention. There must be fighting over here on the left side. He may lose an engineer squad. Going back to the left side, Puma is doing quite a bit of damage. Going to try to decap that plus 16 fuel, and he will get it. Going to look back to the right side. He did retreat those 2 engineer squads, so he's safe to go. Panzer's Shrek's Grenadier Squad going to cap those VPs. VPs are 364 to 491, favoring our our American player, and Rifle Squad will fort this away. There's a sniper as well, which takes that building, so the Grenadier Squad cannot go into that building. Great sniper micro there, trying to prevent any sort of option these Grenadiers had, but they are on the run. So back to the Puma over here, gonna force this rifle squad away. Whoa, taking lots of damage there. Very low on health, down to 2 guys. What they did earlier was step on this mine over here. It was placed by the Vermont player and took insane damage, forcing them to retreat, and they will not be able to reclaim this fuel point over on the right hand side. So our US player right now currently does not have any fuel except that cute little +5 fuel near his base, which is not enough income at all. While our Vermont player doesn't have fuel at the moment, he actually just now capped the +16 fuel, so he is sitting on quite a bit of map control at the moment. The left side, once he reconnects his supply lines, his strategic point right here being capped by his MG, and he has quite a bit of the right side as well, and I don't see any sort of counter coming in from our American player as he is pushing into the left side. So 2 engineer squads may take out this bunker. Is there anything here? There really isn't much. There's that 1 MG. So if he wants to hold this MG, he needs to keep this MG alive. He needs to get a very, very good shot from this MG and not allow any flanking or anything to take out this MG, and that will delay any sort of reinforcements, or that will delay the US player's push and allow reinforcements for our Vermont player. And you can see another Puma is coming out, which is a reinforcement. Looks like this Puma over here, not sure, I guess he's just kind of trying to hold on to the right side is what its purpose is, and get repaired by that Pioneer Squad. So here comes the fight right now. There is a flanking Grenadier Squad trying to do its thing, but not sure what it's going to do against all this here, and it is forced retreat. Now the MG is doing its thing, right? Sniper a little bit overextending itself and trying to tiptoe its way back to the safety of that MG, and the MG does get a good arc of fire on all his units here. I don't see any flanking squads. There is one over here, but it's capping the +16 fuel, which will easily be taken care of by the Puma and the Volksgrenadier Squad. So the MG doing its work there, earning its pay, and holds the line for our thinned out Vermont player here. Not such a big army, and unfortunately for the U.S. player, he did blob. Unfortunately, if he was spreading out his rifle squads as he has been during the entire game, that would have been a huge victory for our U.S. player, especially if he went down the middle and flanked up here, or at least poked to see where his options were. And you can see that M8